Coming right up, another fun varsity sports show.
Hi kids, this is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show with my man Vince DeLaura. And what's your last name?
It's DeLaura.
Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, right. Okay.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. My name is Vince DeLaura, and what a beautiful Saturday morning. It's warmed up nicely. Still a little chilly out, not too bad, but relatively speaking for you folks in the Midwest and the East that are tuning in this morning, sorry. You gotta move here. Actually, don't move here because then it'll get too crowded. But anyway, we are live in Phoenix, Arizona on a beautiful day. Another Saturday. Last week, I had a chance. I was out at the Terry Donahue Memorial Foundation California Showcase in Irvine, California. Had a great time out there. Got a chance to get caught up with some good friends. Shout out to my old friend Mike Beal, the Beachin' with Beal Southern California Surf Report. Hopefully, we'll be bringing that back soon. He's been jonesing to get on the air and insult me, so we're going to bring him back sometime sooner or later. It won't be today. He's still working on his material, and anyway. But I am in studio today. I've got some good friends with me, some folks that have been grinding away all semester long, working with us, and going left to right. I am going to start by introducing Alexandra Medina. I call you Alex. Is that okay that I call you Alex?
Yeah, Vince, that's fine.
Okay. Alexandra Medina, Alex Medina from the Cronkite School of Mass Communications. To her left is, my right, is John Snyder. John is a broadcast journalism student from Grand Canyon University, one of our new partners this year. John, how are you?
I'm doing well this morning.
John is a big pop culture guy, so we're infusing a bit of pop culture into our show this semester, courtesy of John Snyder. And then to his left, my right, another familiar face and name is Kobe Bronstein. Kobe from Cronkite as well. Kobe, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm stoked to be here this morning. Looking forward to talking to two live guests and Muecke, the Saguaro head coach, as well as the head coach of Thunderbird baseball, just in this first hour alone.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Jacobs will be joining us as well, and this is year number 2 that we are going to be privileged and honored to be covering Thunderbird baseball. We're undefeated when we cover Thunderbird, so we're going to talk to them about that as well. And they're undefeated, we're undefeated. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. We've got a lot of great content today. We've got Aaron Decker behind the glass, our trusty producer running the board today, and as he has done for the past 5 years that our show has been on the air in various forms. We got some big announcements coming as well on some things that we're doing. We're not going to announce it today, but the promos are out there. KDUS has been putting some promos out there about our show. I'm not going to say anything because it's still a little ways off, but if you listen to KDUS during the week, during the day, particularly during the Dan Patrick Show in the mornings, you may have heard the promos on our show. So good stuff coming, as well as other things. You know, we not only do we cover things going on in the community, youth, high school, college sports, pro sports. We cover a lot of things. We're storytellers. One thing we tell our crew, our team, is that we are right, John? We're storytellers, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, we tell stories. We tell and we tend to focus on the positive. There's people that get paid a lot of money to tell negative crap, and we don't do that because we want everybody to start their Saturdays off on a good note. And there's a lot of good stories to tell out there. We're going to get into those things as the show goes on, and talking about all the good things happening in the community. Some of the good things that are going on. We've got some reports coming up from our very own Lauryn Abozeid from the University of Arizona. She's going to talk a little UofA women's basketball. John, you've got a football update from the UofA as well. So speaking of UofA, we're going to get into that as well. We're going to bring on Thunderbird baseball coach Mike Jacobs, a good guy to know, good guy, a member of this community, longtime member of this community. Seth Kordich from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas is going to talk a little Arizona Cardinals. I've got an interview with the brand new, this is still weird to me, the brand new head football coach at Mountain View High School, who was the coach at Horizon High School, Andy Litten. The reason why I say it's kind of weird to me is because he's been synonymous with Horizon the past 3-4 seasons, and his first year as their head coach a couple years back, won the state championship, followed it up with multiple playoff appearances, and now he lives out in the East Valley, and now he'll be taking over the Mountain View Toro program. I'm good friends, fortunate enough to have some solid friendships with Dr. Mike Oliver, the principal out there, great guy to know, and athletic director Joe Goodman, another good guy to know. Sierra Naess, our very own Sierra Naess, is going to be talking some GCU women's rugby. By the way, later today, guys, we are going to be bringing you the Grand Canyon University Club women's lacrosse game. I'll be on the call later today. It's actually at noon, joined by Sammy Califf and others. So it should be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to that. I want to go around the horn here real quick. Alex, you were part of our show, obviously, last week. John is kind of the newbie here. John, what are you studying? What do you want to do with yourself? Isn't that a lot of pressure? I'm like your mom and dad right now asking you, what do you want to do?
I know. It's my debut on the radio. It's so right. Crazy. I'm studying broadcast journalism at GCU.
Okay.
And so far, this is like the biggest step I've ever taken in my journey as a broadcaster. But
wow.
In my future, I want to work in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
Think Inside Edition or Entertainment Tonight. I love watching reporters talk to celebrities and understand their life and make the celebrity life more personable to us that don't have that luxury.
You know, I could honestly see you as one of those guys standing on the red carpet as the celebs get out of their limo and you kind of catching them, going up to them and hounding them for an interview. You seem like that would be a perfect fit for you. Not that you're, an irritating person, but just that you want to know things and you're going to ask those questions. Do you have a favorite celebrity?
Yeah, my favorite celebrity is Ariana Grande right now, that is, especially because she's releasing an album in a month. No promo right there.
Okay.
But another big one is Taylor. I know that a lot of sports people are not really happy with her right now, but that is like big news in the sports industry right now, really.
How much money do you think that the NFL made off of bringing in a different audience, to particularly teens and young people, maybe such as yourself that maybe may not be into the NFL? All of a sudden you're watching now.
Oh God, there's an unknowable amount of money that I think there is, because a lot of people got into Taylor Swift as well. Like when I watched the Super Bowl this past weekends ago, like people were mad at her, but like it's a lot of publicity.
Isn't that something?
It's very good.
Gosh, can you imagine capitalizing on that? I remember as a kid saying, God, I wish I would have written the song Beat It and then just kind of retired on an island somewhere, right? When Michael Jackson. Anyway, okay, that's another story for another day. We're going to go to a report from our very own Angelo Scaturro out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He's talking a little Arizona Coyotes today. Take it away.
This is Angelo Scaturro from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas with the Varsity Sports Show. If you remember back in 2021, the Arizona Coyotes had a run-in with the city of Glendale as they came to a decision not to renew the Yotes to play another year inside Desert Diamond Arena. Since the 2022-23 season, the Coyotes have moved their home games to Mullet Arena, currently belonging to Arizona State University, which seats 5,000 spectators, marking it the smallest NHL venue. Just recently, they have filed an application to buy roughly 200 acres of land in the north north side of Phoenix for a new arena to play in after being rejected land in Tempe. Their housing situation has caught the attention of NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, who stated that the state of the Coyotes' home site will be, quote, addressed in the next few weeks during the All-Star break in January. Assigned for a temporary home for the Yotes lately have been in Salt Lake City, Utah. This comes after Ryan Smith, owner of the Utah Jazz, showed high interest in bringing an NHL franchise to the city.
I think our goal is NHL, and I'll leave the rest on how all that happens to Gary. Expansion. I mean, we went through the expansion process, but we're ready, and we're ready to go, and we just want to be true partners with the league.
The Coyotes have played in Desert Diamond Arena since its opening in 2003 until the expiration of their contract 19 years later. For Varsity Sports Show, Angelo Scaturro reporting.
Hello everyone, this is Lauryn Abozeid with Varsity Sports from the University of Arizona, and today I'm going to talk about the new recruit on the women's basketball team. The University of Arizona women's basketball team previously held tryouts in search of extra bodies, being that 3 players were injured and 1 dropped the team to focus more on school. When head coach Adia Barnes held tryouts, only 4 out of 150 were eligible to try out, due to the majority of the girls not filling out the paperwork correctly. But nonetheless, Barnes found her extra body to have on the team. Her name is Brooklyn Rhodes. She's from St. Louis, Missouri. In a press conference given Wednesday, head coach Barnes talks about how Rhodes previously played with Jada Williams, a freshman guard on UA's team. The two played AAU together in St. Louis during the 8th grade. Rhodes was put on scholarship as soon as she joined the team, but cannot attend practice due to the interference it has with her class. In a press conference given February 4th, Barnes mentions how she wants to have an extra body on the team to help out in practice.
So my intentions are to maybe find 1 or 2 players. Will they play a lot? I'm probably not. But maybe to come in, bring some energy, help us in practice where they're decent enough to do scout team and stuff like that, help us on the road.
Being that Rhodes is not practicing with the team, it seems like Barnes just wanted an extra body. Before Rhodes joined the team, they only had 7 eligible girls, so if another player got hurt, they would have to start forfeiting games. But being that they have an extra body, now they're in the clear. Thank you for listening. Once again, I'm Lauryn Abozeid with Varsity Sports from the University of Arizona, and have a great rest of your day.
Hey football fans, I'm John Snyder here with Varsity Sports from Grand Canyon University, reporting on Jayden DeLaura declaring he will be moving on from college ball. In a recent statement, the quarterback declared on Thursday in a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, stating, "After much thought, prayer, and encouragement by those closest to me, I have made the decision to officially declare for the 2024 NFL Draft." Jayden started his career early on and played throughout high school, where he was recognized by Washington State. He played as a Cougar for 2 seasons until signing on with the Wildcats here in Arizona in 2022. He played 2 seasons here as well, and is now on track to play his final season, and DeLaura had decided to transfer to Texas State to continue his career with Noah Fifita locked into starting the job for the Wildcats, but DeLaura withdrew from the university after announcing his intent on social media. TSU issued a 1-sentence statement Wednesday saying DeLaura had withdrawn as a student from the San Marcos, Texas campus and will not be part of the Texas State football program. Days before he withdrew from the university, DeLaura settled a sexual assault case in civil court dating back to 2018 when the quarterback was a minor. That had been revealed while he was playing for Arizona. It drew backlash then, and also when he announced the transfer to Texas State. The Texas State University newspaper gave a statement saying that this does not violate the Texas State University Code of Student Conduct or athletics mission policies, and that he would be considered in good standing as a student and football player. And the same went for UA when this surfaced last year. Well, there you have it. Will Jayden get drafted into the NFL in April? I'm John Snyder for Varsity Sports.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. When we come back from the break, we are going to be joined by Thunderbird Titans High School head baseball coach Mike Jacobs. We are rounding into year number 2 to start covering the Titans. Looking forward to it. We'll get a preview from Coach Jacobs when we come back. Go Varsity.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
APAC is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, APAC has you covered. Call APAC, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbetterAthletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind. Hey guys, Vince here to talk about Angel Dentistry. It's where my wife and I have gone for over 10 years, and we trust them with our routine and extensive dental care because they care. Dr. Amber Angel is an Arizona native, born in the town of Miami, and has been practicing in the Valley over 20 years. For general to comprehensive dental services, call 602-788-2008. Located off of Cave Creek Road just north of the 101 in North Phoenix. Angel Dentistry, proud supporters of our young people and proud partners of the Varsity Sports Show.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Dude, Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is male, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
Tighten up with Thunderbird Titans Baseball on Varsity Sports Show AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. And now, here's Titans coach Mike Jacobs.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. My name's Alexandra Medina, and on the phone we have the coach of the Thunderbird baseball team, Mike Jacobs. Coach, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Alexandra. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's Saturday morning. It's beautiful outside, and just excited to be awake and on the show. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Coach, Thunderbird baseball season just started. How has the team's chemistry been since the first game played against Northwest Christian High School?
The chemistry's been really well. We've gotten back to what I'll call full strength with our full team of guys. There were a couple of multi-sport athletes that joined us a little bit later than normal, but we're excited to have everybody together. We've been off to a real slow start record-wise, but some of that's expected with just not having everybody there. A little bit banged up on the pitching side of things, but the chemistry is good. We got a good group of seniors and juniors, a couple sophomores, so they're all having fun still, which is a big part of it. And we're right on the cusp of turning the page and getting some wins in the win column.
Nice. I was wondering, how are you approaching differently this season compared to last season with your tactics?
That's a good question. Those are things that every year, you have a similar routine of what you do in the off season and playing games. I think some of that this off season and what we try to do more of was play more games than we had normally in the past to get guys more game experience. So that was something that we really tried to strive for in the fall and in January, was to get on the field in more game live situation.
Coach Jacobs, this is Kobe Bronstein from the ASU Cronkite School of Journalism. Yesterday, you guys came out with a close loss to Poston Butte, 7-6. What are your takeaways from yesterday's game, translating it into the very next game on March 4th against Apollo?
I think offensively we did a better job at the plate, being aggressive in counts that we will call hitters counts, and that paid off. We out-hit Poston Butte yesterday. We probably had more guys on base, and just unfortunately, again, the result was a loss, 7-6. But the way we had been swinging the bat previously against St. Mary's, I think that was a good takeaway. We had a good in-between practice. We're going to try to get on the field and hit a little bit beforehand. But that was probably the big takeaway from the game yesterday was our approach at the plate, the way that we were looking to do our job in situations at the plate was important for us going into Monday against Apollo, who's a very, very well-coached team by Coach Aker. They've been successful for many, many years, so it's going to be a good competitive game on Monday.
Awesome, Coach. And Noah Anderson on your team currently has a batting average of 467. Can you please tell me a little bit about he plays into the Thunderbird success?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, he's come around with the plate. He typically bats in the top of the order, and with that success comes guys in the order before him or after him, giving him opportunities to just swing the bat in good counts, putting pressure on pitchers. He had a real good day at the dish yesterday, but some of that was because of our two-hole guy that was there, Chase Benson, and our four-hole hitter, Andrew Cohill, who did a good job of protecting him there and giving him opportunity to swing the bat. And he puts in the work to do so. Big, strong kid. He's a Phoenix College commit for next year, most likely as a pitcher, but the way he swings it and plays the outfield and just as an athlete, it's something that's impressive to watch. But he does put in the work to accomplish those things that he is doing at the plate right now, and it's fun to watch.
Awesome. Now you hear it from Coach Mike Jacobs of Thunderbird Baseball. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to talking to you again. Next up, you guys are going to hear a little bit about Arizona Cardinals football from Seth Kordich. Vince DiAlicio will be talking about Mountain View football with Coach Andy Litten, who was just hired as their head coach. And Sierra Naess will be talking about GCU rugby. Thanks, Coach.
What's up, everybody? It's Seth Kordich reporting out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas for the Varsity Sports Show. This week, we're talking all things Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals ended the 2023 season with only 4 wins and 13 losses. The record placed them with the number 4 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft this year. Now, there's lots of discussions on what their move should be with this pick. Are we happy with the quarterback we have, Kyler Murray, after a rocky season coming back from a torn ACL? Or should we draft a QB at 4? This year's draft class has a loaded quarterback group. Former Heisman winner Caleb Williams, current Heisman winner Jayden Daniels, national champion J.J. McCarthy, and plenty others. However, new head coach Jonathan Gannon has spoke adamantly on Kyler Murray being the franchise quarterback, even saying to an ESPN analyst, "I don't think we've seen his best ball either." With the Cardinals front office, head coach, and the rest of the team having faith in Kyler, I have faith that they'll use that 4th overall pick to put another threat on the outside for him. This draft class is loaded with talent at the wide receiver position, with guys like Washington's Rome Odunze, LSU's Malik Neighbors, and Florida State's Keon Coleman. But there's one man who stands above the crowd, Ohio State's Marvin Harrison Jr. Yes, the son of former Super Bowl champion and Pro Football Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Sr., famously known for his times at the Indiana Colts with Peyton Manning. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a 2-time unanimous All-American, 2023 Biletnikoff Award winner, and 2023 Heisman finalist. Marvin Harrison Jr. has magnets for hands and could possibly fill the shoes of Arizona legend Larry Fitzgerald. Kyler and Marvin would be a lethal 1-2 punch with guys like Marquise Brown and Rondale Moore for the quick game. Arizona Cardinals have the potential to have a great offseason and an even better regular season. The Cardinals have a run for the money to make it out of the NFC West, but I'm excited for what's to come. Reporting from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, I'm Seth Kordich, and I'll see you next time.
Brand new, this is going to be weird to say for a little while, head football coach at Mountain View High School, the Toros. His name is Andy Litten. Coach Litten, congratulations. So many questions I want to ask you. The first thing I want to ask you, though, is why?
You know, Mountain View is just a storied tradition and just an awesome football place. And I'm really excited about the community and how excited they are. And then on top of that, you know, it's the right decision for me and my family. It's closer to home. I'm an East Valley guy. And so, you know, those two things, you know, as tough as it was to leave Horizon, you know, it makes me really excited about our opportunity at Mountain View.
Well, looking back on Horizon, obviously Horizon has won in the past. They won with you there, won big, but you're stepping into a program that through the years, I mean, they have been a behemoth in the East Valley. Kind of fell on tough times a little bit. And what is the allure now with getting there and building this program?
I think that, again, when I talked to Mike Oliver, our principal, and Joe Goodwin, we're on the same page, our AD. I think that Mountain View we want to connect the old, all right, and bring in the new and allow for Mountain View to kind of go back to that dominant era. And I think that it's just prime, ready to do that. They pumped a bunch of money into facilities with the turf fields and the Jumbotron, and the kids are fired up. And so, that if you build it, they will come. And so that's the allure for me, is to go there and help them rebuild that to a perennial power. And that's our number one goal.
You won a state championship year one at Horizon. What can we expect at Mountain View?
That's the goal, man. So our goal right away is to compete, win an open state championship, and win whatever games in front of us, especially Red Mountain.
You had a meeting with the team this morning. How'd that go? And what did you walk away from that? How many were in that meeting? How'd it go?
So I had my meeting with Horizon today, not Mountain View, and that was a tough one. And so, it was tough to say goodbye, but the kids are understanding, and they're ready to get back to work and find their new coach. And I told them today that they're going to be champions in the future too. So
now, moving into the new role, how soon are things going to start ramping up over there? And what's the vibe? What are you hearing? And what can you expect?
Yeah. So the plan is that tomorrow I meet with the guys after school, and then I meet with parents in kind of a meet and greet in the evening. So we're going to gear that. I've just already started to build our staff. I started to do that today, and we're trying to hit the ground running in a world where we're kind of feeling like we're a little bit behind, and so we're excited about that. We want to make sure that the kids still have all the dates that they want to have, including their 7-on-7 and summer schedules. So we're trying to make sure that we figure that out as soon as possible so people can make plans.
There you have it. Brand new head football coach, Mountain View High School. Familiar name, familiar face, Andy Litten. Coach, congratulations. Good luck. Looking forward to working with you now and into the future. And things are looking good on Brown Road.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Vince. Have a good one.
I'm Sierra Naess, student at Grand Canyon University, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. Gentle, dainty, physically weak, all stereotypes many people believe to be true about women's athletics. Yet, the girls on the GCU women's rugby team prove us otherwise.
Like, when I tell people that I play rugby, they're like, oh, like, do you play with the boys? Like, don't they tackle? I'm like, yeah, so do we. Like, we don't tackle them, but we can tackle too.
Unlike most sports, men and women's rugby abide by the same rules.
But I think it's really cool to be a woman playing rugby because it's such an aggressive sport. Tackling, no pads, bruises everywhere. But there's like empowerment into that. You can still be a girly girl and play a really aggressive sport, and I just love it. It's awesome.
It just feels really powerful to I've always had muscles and been wanted to have muscles. So I was always lifting and always in the weight room, but I never knew for what purpose. So now being able to use that strength in a practical way by being good and excelling at a sport is so cool. A lot of people think it might be masculine, but we totally own it and make it even cool femininity.
If you have not had a chance to see these girls play, then you're in luck. They have a game this Saturday against Claremont McKenna College. I'm Sierra Naess, student at GCU with the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Yes, women's rugby, men's rugby. GCU Club has 44 sports. They've got everything out there. And today, we're broadcasting women's lacrosse. We're going to have women's lacrosse head coach Tracy Ramirez on with us a little later in the program. So be sure and stay tuned for that. When we come back from the break, it's time for the SaberCat Report with Saguaro SaberCat baseball coach Joe Muecke. Big win yesterday. Kobe is going to be leading that one off. He called that game yesterday. Should be a lot of fun. Guys, don't go anywhere. We are just getting rolling here at the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060. Go Varsity.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show, coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hello everyone, my name is Kendall Flynn and I am a junior studying sports journalism with a minor in Spanish at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I have been in and around sports my whole life and I'm thrilled to show my passion for sports with the Varsity Media Foundation as a social media manager and technical director this spring.
James Out West brings NFL, NBA, MLB, and local sports talk to you Monday night starting at 7 on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the SaberCat Report with Saguaro High School baseball coach Joe Muecke. And now, here's the SaberCat Report.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. You heard right there, the SaberCat Report. And we're being joined on the airwaves with Joe Muecke, the Saguaro head baseball coach. Coach Muecke, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful Saturday, and always nice after a W.
I got a chance to meet you yesterday calling the game play-by-play in your 10-0 dominant victory against Goldwater. What are your takeaways from yesterday's performance?
Just a really good approach. Our pitching right now is just really leading the way, and that was on showcase yesterday. Cade Schumar just came in with a good plan and attacked, and it was definitely one that gave us a good chance to kind of find our patience at the plate. And when anytime you let your offense kind of slowly find their way or make their adjustments that they need. That usually starts on the defensive side of the ball, but just played a pretty clean game on the defensive end, and that's a big plus because we can score a lot of runs, but if we're keeping teams at a low number, we're giving ourselves a real good chance to win that day.
Nice. I'm John Snyder from Grand Canyon, and I was wondering how you keep a positive team culture and promote good sportsmanship in your baseball team.
Oh, it's a big focus point for what we try to do, right? I love that question because, honestly, that's what you fight for every day is the culture of your program. And so, especially in a game of baseball where there's so much failure or just not feeling like you get too high on a day like yesterday and not too low on a day where you don't feel like it's going your way. It's about kind of creating that good mindset, that good routine of you're going to have some good days, you're going to have some days that don't feel so good, but it's approaching them all the same. And so even a day like yesterday, you enjoy it for what it is, but then you're kind of back to work, not letting that take over and feeling like you have this thing figured out because it'll humble you real quick if you get too high. So we try to continue to drive that way and approach it, respect the game, respect the process, and try to let that take its first center stage.
Hey, Coach, you guys are headed into Mojave on March 4th. In order to walk away with a win, what are you guys going to need to do, and what are you guys going to be preparing for?
Love it. I think, honestly, we're going to be preparing for something similar to Goldwater, a very similar type of team. We feel like they're going to kind of try to throw us backwards a little bit, and so a very similar approach to kind of making sure Billy Gregory's on the mound. And, I think you got a pretty good blueprint with Cade is just attack the zone early, work ahead. And then, again, not just Mojave, but a lot of these games, if we don't beat ourselves, extend innings with mistakes, it's just staying sharp on both sides of the ball, but very confident that, we should be able to have a very similar game plan if we can go out and execute with a hopefully a similar outcome.
Coach, you guys made a late season push last season to make it all the way to the 4A state championship. How do you ensure that your team gets back into that position and coming out on top in 2024?
Oh, I love it. I wish we could have a crystal ball, right? You never find your way back there just by accident. It's just kind of staying true to the process of one day at a time. We can't control outcomes. We can't control expectations. So you have to just truly prepare every day like you want to be back in that spot. Hopefully we stay healthy. Hopefully we are able to have all our guys ready to go. But, it's about preparing and enjoying each day. I know we all want to be back in that game. We'd love another shot to redo the outcome of that one. But you don't get that opportunity just by wanting to. It's just it's by how you work at it. And so we're truly enjoying each day with this group. And so with each day we talk about being 1% better. And if we keep that short focus, hopefully the big picture goals will all take care of themselves. We set up every year with expectations. We want to go win our region first. And if we're able to do that, that sets the table for what we want to do behind it. And so those are just the little short-term goals that hopefully will put us back there, but with a different knowing now how to finish. And so that's always a mindset thing too. And this group's had a taste, and so we're hungry, and that's a good problem to have.
I was wondering how you like being mic'd up for the first time.
I probably got a little shy. I'll be honest with you. You definitely want to make sure, but it was no different. Truthfully, I try to keep a very even keel. My guys know I'm very competitive, but it's also how you maintain your body language, how you communicate with umpires or players. And I'm a glass half full kind of guy, and so we're trying to always make sure that we're keeping that mindset in the same space. And I'll try to lead by example in all those ways. But I enjoy it. I had a good time listening to the call yesterday on the mics, and even hearing yourself on there. It's a good reflection on certain things you want to say better or even just approach differently. So those are all just good things to take away, and I loved it. I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
Yeah, it was awesome that you put on the mic yesterday. And if you go back and listen to the broadcast on the Varsity Sports Show, we captured a great moment right around the 4th or 5th inning. And you're not expecting when the broadcast is going to go to the coach's mic. And when your team was up 5-0 at that point, when just about an inning later, you guys finished with a 10-0 victory, you said, hey, we're not done yet. And that's immediately what I said coming back from the break, that it just made for an awesome moment. And then after that, you guys tacked on 5 more runs in that dominant victory. So head coach Joe Miecke, Saguaro head baseball coach, thanks for joining us, Coach, and good luck in your games this week.
Always appreciate all you guys do for all the sports programs in the Valley. Thank you. Top shelf. Much appreciated.
No doubt. Head coach Joe Miecke for Saguaro baseball. Next, we're going to transition to an update with Vince, talking with Coach Ron Sowers on his new training facility.
All right, guys, we are joined by a longtime friend of our program. He's known statewide, probably. I have to argue that this guy is known nationally for what he does here in Arizona, for kids here in Arizona. He is known for his work in developing offensive, defensive linemen, and then some. He's expanded to a certain degree outside of that, does a lot more, and he is the owner of Training Better Athletes. His name is Coach Ron Sowers. Coach Sowers, welcome back to the program. Thank you so much for allowing this partnership to continue. We've had a lot of fun working with you and seeing a lot of these kids develop. So I wanted to start off, first of all, by welcoming you back.
Thanks, Vince. It's always great to spend time with you, and you just doing a fabulous job. I always love how you're involved with the different programs from college all the way through the high school kids, and you're making a difference. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. And yeah, we had a fabulous year this year, and TBA is growing. We introduced linebackers and running backs to the program last year, and that's growing leaps and bounds. And eventually, we'll get to some more of the skill kids, DBs and receivers. We're setting that up now, but we're still growing. Over 200 strong come to TBA, and
wow.
Just proud of all the kids, how hard they work, all their achievements.
And speaking of that, I mean, you take a lot of pride in when you get news of guys getting scholarships. And tell us about this particular offseason, how things are going here into the spring. Give us some numbers. Give us some highlights.
Well, we're super excited. Every year for the past, I think, 8 years since we, formalized this into a business, we've averaged over 90% of the kids who train at TBA go on to play college football.
Wow.
On some type of scholarship, either full or partial. But we've had great success. This year, most outstanding year, we had 33 seniors, 33 or 34, I can't remember, I'm getting old, and 32 of them were offered.
Oh, my God.
Super excited about that. I did a study on it when I had to put all the banners up with the kids' names on them. We run about 63% go to D1, and the rest are, filtered out in D2s, D3s. But as far as we're concerned, if they come bust their butt, there's a place for them to play in college football. We don't care where that is. As long as they keep the grades up, they work hard. We've had great success. They also, besides over 90% that go play college football, 90% of our kids get postseason awards. Super proud of that, how much they do in their communities. It's just heartwarming to see these kids buy into a process that eventually will make them better men. And that's what TBA really is all about.
Tell us a little bit also, Coach, about the programming, some of the things that you have going on in particular this spring out at Training Better Athletes that maybe some of the parents that haven't quite jumped on board the bandwagon yet should really take a look at.
Well, we do quite a few things. And this year I had a lot of parents, Vince, come to me and go, hey, we want our, because we had a youth movement, right? And we want our young men to start getting ready for, weightlifting. Can you guys teach that? And I said, absolutely. So we got about 20 youth kids who come to us Mondays and Wednesdays, and we're teaching them how to lift properly. I always want high school kids to lift with their team because it's important, and that's where you build a great bond in there, throwing that pig iron around. But the youth kids, we wanted to make sure that they learn how to do this correctly so that when they get to high school, they're basically hitting the ground running, right? They're going to have a leg up on, the kids they're competing with. We also do speed training. So we stay quite busy all week long.
All right. There you have it. Coach Ron Sowers, Training Better Athletes, Southeast Corner, 32nd Street and Thunderbird in North Phoenix. Go check them out. There's always something happening at TBA, Training Better Athletes, and you can find them online, trainingbеттerathletes.com. Coach, we're going to circle back with you in a couple weeks because you got some exciting developments on some other personnel coming in and working with you, and we're looking forward to having them join us as well.
Oh, thank you, Vince. Keep doing what you're doing. You're making a huge difference. I appreciate you, brother.
It's a good feeling when someone tells you you're making a huge difference. You wonder, a lot of times you wonder when you're delivering content, when you're putting things together, how it's being received, and it's been nothing but positive feedback. Well, I take that back. Sometimes people don't like what we say, particularly our competitors, because they listen. That's what's really cool about our show is that even our competitors listen to our show. So good morning to you all if you're tuning in today. Kobe, you had a chance. You were out at Saguaro yesterday. You called the game. You mentioned some pretty cool moments when you were talking to Coach Muecke. Did you think it was going to be that big of a win when the game started?
I mean, they started off on the right foot. They got 2 runs, but once you saw Cade Schumart on the mound, you knew that Goldwater just didn't have any answers. And through his first 7 outs, he had 6 strikeouts, and in 5 innings, 9 strikeouts total. And one of my last questions I would have asked Coach Muecke if it came back around to me again was, what did his velo look like yesterday? But he was just rolling and rocking on the mound yesterday.
What did you have a good eye for baseball, and you had a good vantage point. What would you estimate he was throwing yesterday?
I would say upper 80s to maybe lower 90s, and this is a guy that's a Division I commit. Next year playing his college ball at New Mexico State University, and he, again, was just pounding the strike zone in all these different spots.
All right, guys, when we come back, we have GCU Club women's lacrosse coach Tracy Ramirez here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be right back.
Carving out time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you. The Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Hi, hey, this is Coach Bob Green. When I am not busier than a mosquito in a news colony, I'm listening to Vince at the Varsity Sports Show. Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Listener rewards for you with the KDUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KDUS 1060 app.
All right, guys, welcome to the GCU Club Report. Today, we've got a big match, and it's going to be the women's lacrosse team hosting Utah Valley. And joining us on the line for the report is, in her 7th year, Coach Tracy Ramirez. Coach Ramirez, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome back this season. We had a lot of fun covering you last year and looking forward to kickstarting it again this year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and super excited to talk about our season and our program.
Coach, I definitely want to get right into that. Looking at your season overall, you've had some really big games, and you've had a good season so far. Looking at everything, is there anything in the early part of the season that kind of stands out to you, or even up to this point, as kind of that aha moment where you say, "Wow, we're pretty good," or "We do blank pretty well"?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been kind of over the past several years building it up with a culture, and that was kind of the first aha with this program and this team specifically this year, is their culture has been so strong, along with their mindset and their drive and their unity with each other. So that was the first connection. And then you'll notice a lot of freshmen on our roster too. So we were kind of playing around with things at the beginning of season and seeing them in practice and seeing the couple first games not performing to the best of their ability, moving things around a bit for them, moving people around a bit, and really kicking things into gear. And then they started performing the way that they should and seeing that potential. And once they saw that potential, it just got so much better for them as well.
Well, you've had a string of some big wins back to back. A couple weeks back, a little over a week ago, University of California, San Diego, then University of Oregon. Then you had a big 1-point win last week against BYU. What did that do to your program?
That did so much for just the girls themselves. I feel like the last several years even, I saw more in them than they saw in them. And I think in that game and in those moments, they truly saw in themselves and in each other who they were and what they could actually do as a team. And so that just boosted their confidence and their work ethic. And it was just so big for them. Along with everyone else, I think it's the first time we've finally turned a couple of heads and been like, oh, what is this GCU program down in Phoenix, Arizona?
Well, turning heads you did. The national rankings came out this week, and you were you're getting some respect now and some notoriety. You were at number 18. Obviously, that puts a little added pressure on your program. And how is the team responding to this?
Really well. They were super excited about it, super excited that they're making history. I wanted to congratulate them, but remind them, it's just as easy to get out of the ranking as it is to get into it. So not to let it get into your head too positively or negatively, to just stick to what we're doing and the process and the journey and each other, and just one day at a time and one game at a time. But I think that's really also boosted their confidence that other people are starting to believe in them now too.
Let's look at today's opponent. They're coming in at noon today. Utah Valley. What can you tell us about them? There's not a lot on them.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this game. They finished second nationally in Division II last year, and they moved up to D1 this year, but they are already looking really good. I saw they scrimmaged BYU in the fall, ranked number 9, I believe, and only lost to them by 1 point. So that's a very impressive, even just fall ball performance. And you got to assume people get better from fall ball. So it should be another great, really tough competition for us today.
Who did you want to give some special shout-outs to on your team? Who's playing exceptionally well right now that we need to keep an eye out for in today's match?
Oh my gosh, I only have, I wish I could tell you the entire team.
We don't have an hour.
I definitely want to shout out my leaders and my captains, both for their performance on the field, but also everything they give to the team outside of the field, pushing them, holding them accountable, organizing things, really diving deep into the culture and motivating each other, but along with their performance on the field, they have been killing it. All 4 of them are starters and players that I rely on. So we have actually my entire first midi line. We have Shaylee Smith, Kat Taylor, and Ashley Swearingen. They're amazing. They work so well together, and they work so well with the entire team. And then we have Geneva Barrett on the defensive end. She's really done a lot for our defense this year, being the anchor with communication and really holding them tight, holding them accountable, and holding them positive too.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. GCU Club women's lacrosse head coach in her 7th year, Tracy Ramirez, and nationally ranked number 18 going into today's match against Utah Valley. Coach, good luck this afternoon. We'll be carrying the broadcast. You can find the links on our social media as well as the GCU Club Sports social media. Thanks again for the opportunity, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, I'm David Lopez from the University of Florida reporting for the Varsity Sports Show, and I'm here to tell you about a town of just over 3,000 people that houses one of the best high school basketball teams in Florida, a team that is chasing back-to-back state championships this week. Just 30 minutes south of Gainesville, Williston High School is a home to a little over 500 students and a basketball program that has transformed into a dominant force in North Central Florida. Coach Jim Irvin has been at the helm for Williston for the past 4 seasons, joining in 2020 when the Red Devils were the 317th best team in the state of Florida. Since then, Irvin has transformed the team dramatically, alongside a community that has rallied around its basketball team. Coach Irvin stressed the love that the community has shown since his arrival.
Community, from day one since I was hired as the head coach here, has embraced me. We were honored at a church service Sunday. Our whole team showed up at a church service Sunday, and they honored our basketball team. So,
just last season, Williston went 25-7, climbing the ranks as the season went on and claiming the school's first 1A state championship against Chipley High, a crowning achievement for a school that rarely has the resources to achieve sporting success. Now holding several players with scholarship offers at Division 1, 2, and 3 levels, Williston has returned with a vengeance this season and hopes for a rarely accomplished back-to-back state title. This season, the Red Devils are an astonishing 27-2, climbing up the ranks of 24th in the state for basketball, recognition that is practically unheard of for such a small school. Williston star Kyler Lamb, a junior small forward averaging 16 points and 9 rebounds per game, spoke on the pride this group of players takes in being from their small town.
always represent. I'm always going to let everybody know I'm from Williston, so I always going to represent this area.
After dominant performances in the playoffs thus far, including a 95-37 win over Trenton in the last round, Williston takes on a familiar opponent this Friday in the first round of state semifinals, the Chipley High Tigers. With everything on the line for a program achieving national status right before our eyes, Coach Irvin and the Williston Red Devils are no longer a hidden gem here in North Central Florida, but a force to be reckoned with. Once again, I'm David Lopez reporting from the University of Florida with the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, my name is Christopher Severan from Texas Southern University, and you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show. In honor of the start of Women's History Month, I would like to talk about Audrey Jimenez, who wrote her name in Arizona history books, the first woman to win the male state wrestling tournament. Don't get me wrong, she has won plenty of championships throughout her high school career, but this one was against the boys. This year, the Arizona Interscholastic Association allowed her to compete in the boys' tournament. Her parents speak highly of her work ethic. She won her match 7-5. She also this year won a bronze at the Pan American Championship.
I'm Jason Goldie from the Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. NASCAR is coming to the Valley next weekend for the Shriners Children's 500, a 312-lap, 500-mile stock car race at Phoenix Raceway in Avondale. Fans can come out and see their favorite NASCAR drivers, including Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, and Daniel Suarez, take to the blacktop for this exciting annual race. One thing that all three of these drivers have in common is that they were all selected for NASCAR's Drive for Diversity driver development program. The program's purpose is to attract more minority and female individuals to the sport of NASCAR racing. Drive for Diversity primarily focuses on drivers, but also attracts diversity in ownership, sponsorship, crew members, and fans. Drivers compete in a combine to qualify. The Drive for Diversity program began in 2004 to train drivers from diverse backgrounds and experiences to become NASCAR drivers. It's an academic program where top drivers are provided with coaching and mentoring by championship caliber executives and competition staff to give them a chance to race in some of NASCAR's developmental series. There is also a training program for aspiring pit crew members from diverse backgrounds and experiences, which focuses on teaching the fundamentals, discipline, and confidence required to be on a NASCAR pit crew. Drive for Diversity has been around for 20 years and is operated by Rev Racing. The team is owned by Max and Jennifer Siegel. So, if you have a need for speed, head on out to Phoenix Raceway for the Shriners Children's 500 next weekend. For the Varsity Sports Show, I'm Jason Goldie.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona, as we finish up hour number 1. We got a lot of stuff coming up in hour number 2. Thanks again for tuning in this morning. Joined in studio, Vince here with Alex, John, and Kobe. When we come back, hour number 2, a lot of good stuff. Stick around, folks. Don't go anywhere here on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Go Varsity. Don't go anywhere. Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio here from the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited and honored that you start your weekends off with us. Our team is comprised of very talented high school and college students working toward a future in media. We appreciate your support, and any opportunities that we can to promote your teams or businesses will go a long way toward helping us continue supporting our talented team. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we use our platform to not only promote all of the great things happening in the world of sports locally and nationally, but also continue to promote and encourage future broadcasters as they grow in this industry. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Varsity Media Foundation. To find out more, please email us at info@varsitysportshow.com or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Varsity Sports Show, or on Twitter at Varsity Show. Once again, thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now a nationally syndicated program on the Sports Map Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone, in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
I'm Alexandra Medina with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am proud to tell the stories of players, coaches, and even fans. Make sure to tune into the Varsity Sports Show to hear me cover Arizona's local sports.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hey, this is Sophie, and you're listening to my dad, Vince. Dad, you owe me $20 now.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
This program is paid for by the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you, empowering education and enabling dreams, right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm John Snyder here with Alex. She has a lot to say about the 5A state championships.
It was a huge week here in Arizona for high school basketball. Earlier on in the week, I had the opportunity of covering Castile High School and Canyon View as they faced off in the semifinals. Now, the 5A basketball state championship game took place last night at the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona, between Ironwood and Castile. Castile won in double overtime on Wednesday night against Canyon View 67-60, which pushed them to their first state championship appearance. Many of you know that high school games very rarely go into overtime, so it was a real thriller on Wednesday to see them go into overtime twice. And last night, Ironwood beat Castile High School, and the final score was 55-31. What a great night for both teams. I know everybody wants to win, but regardless of the outcome, both teams should be proud because still it was their first state championship, as I mentioned, since the school first opened in 2015. And so it was a long run for them, and they should be very proud of their performance.
How was the crowd's reaction when they went into double overtime?
Well, so the first overtime, it actually happened when one of the Canyon View players, he had no choice but to shoot a three-pointer to send it into overtime. And when he shot the ball, it bounced out, and another player on Canyon View recovered it. And it was seriously, the buzzer just went off right after he threw it up. And I don't know. I don't think that he knew it was going to go in, and it did. And everybody was on their feet from both sides. It was loud. I've never seen anything like it. So it was a great game.
Yeah, what's more exciting than high school basketball for a 5A state championship? And talk a little bit about Perry girls basketball. They also have an opportunity for a 5A championship themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Today at 11 a.m., the 6A Girls State Championship game will take place between Perry High School and Sandra Day O'Connor High School at the Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona, the same place as last night. Now, Perry has been in the spotlight this last year because of Brock Purdy, who is a Perry alumni and led the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl this last NFL season. And Perry beat Cesar Chavez on Tuesday night, 69-58, and Sandra Day O'Connor beat Dobson High School on Tuesday, 42-35. There can only be one winner. Who will it be? We don't know, but you will find out today at 11 a.m. And Perry boys basketball, they have a real gem on their team, Koa Pete, who actually played for USA basketball, and he has a lot of history in his family with professional sports. His brother plays on the Saints. His father also played in the NFL. So this is going to be a good game, a good matchup, and Perry High School from Gilbert, Arizona is looking to bring home some shiny new hardware to their decorated trophy case.
Yeah, for Perry, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, I know just before the start of the Super Bowl, they made it Brock Purdy Way in Gilbert, Arizona, just outside of Perry High School. He had a tremendous impact there for the Pumas, and then obviously we know his story after that to where he went to Iowa State, was the Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the NFL draft, and then look at him this year. Even last year to where he was a third-string quarterback, he beat out not just Jimmy Garoppolo, but Trey Lance as well. Trey Lance was looking like the future 49ers quarterback. He's now on the Cowboys, and the third-string quarterback over there is the quarterback from North Dakota State. So Brock Purdy, what a story, and there's always something to talk about with Perry High School.
It's been crazy, Kobe, and I saw something yesterday on social media. It was quoted that Brock Purdy said during the Combine, which we're now getting ready for this one. He said, all I need is a chance, and boy, did he prove them right.
And John, you have some things to say about the GCU Havocs. That's always a hot topic in the Phoenix area, and you also go to GCU, so have you been a part of the Havocs, or is that just a set group of fans that attend all the GCU games?
All the students at GCU are considered Havocs. We do have some Havoc leaders, which you do have to try out to be one, but every student that attends the games is part of the Havoc group, and it is a big party. In short, like, when you're there, it is I don't know how to express, like, how big of excitement it is when you're within a group of people with watching the basketball go into the basketball get into the hoop, and you're just witnessing everyone excited. That is what the Havocs are. It is just a big party.
Did you know anything about the Havocs before going to GCU? Or
Yeah, before you go to GCU, I got the chance to go to a basketball game because that's when I toured, and I got to experience that. There was like a little student section. It's a big student section, but I got to sit in this section with my high school group, and we got to see it all in person.
And how many games for basketball or any other sport inside of the GCU arena have you been to this year?
This year, I've been to a couple basketball games. That's like the big part about the Havocs is that, but you could also like go to baseball games, track. There'll be a couple of them.
So the Havocs are not just inside of the GCU arena; they really travel and fluctuate to all of the GCU sporting events.
About in December, there was a GCU Liberty game, and they traveled to, I want to say, like Virginia, that area.
Wow!
So they travel with the basketball players.
Hey, John. Now GCU's basketball stadium, that's something else. It's like seriously like a mini professional NBA stadium. Do you think that plays into the success that GCU's basketball and the Havocs have?
I believe that the Havocs really do help the basketball team. Right? That's what you're asking?
Do you think that the stadium and how up to date it is, and just being a great facility to play in, contributes to their success?
I do. I think that the way that it's laid out, I think that the people there that make the players really uplifted, I think that all plays into it.
Yeah, and being in a great environment.
And I'm just curious, I know that they got their very first top 25 ranked win earlier on in the season. Did you go to the court storming game when they beat San Diego State, or were you not there?
I was not there, so I cannot explain like what happened that night, so I'm not a good person to ask, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seemed like pandemonium after the game. Once again, it was the program's very first top 25 win, and I go to Arizona State at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication, as well as Alex Medina. John goes to GCU. And about ASU basketball, well, they've certainly had a very bizarre 3-game stretch to where they were down 20-plus points to Washington at home, and they needed a spark from their bench. And they even brought in Bobby Hurley Jr., the head coach's son, Bobby Hurley Sr.'s son. That is Bobby Hurley Jr. He came in. He doesn't normally get a ton of minutes, but him being inserted into the game, as well as a lot of the bench players, they provided that extra spark that they needed in order to level the score, and it went to overtime, and they eventually lost by a couple points to Washington. There was a late foul, and their 7-1 center, Braxton Mia, knocked down some clutch free throws to give Washington the victory in that one. And then after that, ASU had a dominant performance against Washington State, who was a ranked opponent, coming in at number 21 before Saturday's matchup at Desert Financial Arena. ASU won that one, so they had that momentum carried into the rivalry territorial cup game against the University of Arizona, and they were trying to bounce back from a 45-point loss at the U of A just a week prior. And, well, ASU made the game a lot closer against U of A, but the team out of UofA and Tucson, Arizona, reign supreme once again as they've had during a lot of the matchups recently in that rivalry. I just want to go across this little roundtable here. Alex, I'll start with you. I know you're from the Albuquerque, New Mexico area, and you moved to Chandler, Arizona. Talk to me about where you're from exactly and how you ended up in the field of journalism.
Yeah, so ever since I'm not even kidding, 6 years old, I wouldn't go to sleep unless ESPN was on TV. And growing up in a place where they don't have a lot of professional sports, and honestly, they don't have any. They just have a minor league baseball team, the Albuquerque Isotopes. I needed to surround myself with ESPN to learn more about professional sports around the country. And I just grew up loving it, and I've known that this is what I wanted to do since a very young age, and I've just stayed on track with it, and I'm so happy that I have. And there's been a few times where I've been thinking about going different routes, but I just stay on track. It's what I love, and when you love what you do, it's not work, and so I'm very happy about that.
Speaking of ESPN, they will be at GCU tonight at their final at-home game against SFU.
Yeah, how about that? ESPN. I'm from Connecticut, actually, and the headquarters of ESPN are in Bristol, Connecticut. Of all places in the world, Connecticut, just the third smallest U.S. state. So that's where I'm from. John, I know you go to GCU. What year are you, and where are you from?
I'm a fourth year, and I'm from Lake Havasu City, Arizona. That's about 4 hours from the Phoenix area.
And how did you end up at GCU and specifically into the field of journalism?
This is true. My mom made me go to GCU, so shout out Marcy. But I originally was a pre-med major, and I was in that program for a year, and I hated it. So I remember taking a test in high school that was like, what should I do with my life? And it wasn't pre-med, but it was journalism, and I actually thought like maybe I should look back into that. And so it's under the comms department in my college.
Hey, Kobe, I have a question for you. So ASU played USC in men's basketball. Did you have a chance to go to that game and see Bronny play?
I did have a chance to go to that game, and not only that, but me and my friends and I that went to the game, we were the very first fans that showed up against USC. Got to see Bronny up and close, just about court side to where I was front row, and my friends and I were the very first people inside the arena. And not only that, but on a couple of the Sun Devil basketball posts, someone captured, one of the photographers on the floor level captured a picture of me and some of my friends, and it was basically like I was on the cover of Sun Devil basketball, which was pretty cool. And it was a great game for ASU, getting that victory over USC. USC, a very interesting team coming into the season. Head coach Andy Enfield had his team into a top 25 position early on in the season. They had a couple of injuries, and alongside Bronny James is another star freshman in Isaiah Collier. So that team has trended downwards, but in terms of answering your question, it was a great game, and we were literally the very first fans that went to Desert Financial Arena before that game.
How cool. And ASU is set to play USC again in California on March 7th. How are you feeling about that? Do you think ASU can do it again?
I think ASU can definitely do it again. They're in a position, too, to where if they want to go to the NCAA tournament, they need to win the Pac-12 tournament. And this game against USC could not come at a better time, to where they've already seen USC. This time they're playing on the road in a rather hostile environment. But they've already seen USC, and I'm sure they're going to watch the film and have some tune-ups, considering that loss against the U of A, to where they were down by a wide margin. They made it a lot closer to about a 2-possession game, and they're now heading towards the California road trip at USC in their very first game. And it's heading towards the last couple games of the season, and they really, really need to hit their late season stride.
Now, before we transition into break, let's go around quickly and do our predictions for the Final Four.
Oh, boy. Well, I'm from the University of Connecticut, so I'm going to say I'm a big UConn fan, that I think they're going to be the first back-to-back championships since 2006 and 2007 when Florida won. So my champion is going to be UConn for me. What about you, John?
I'm going with UConn.
When we come back, and we will feature the West Coast report, starting with Ellis Walter Sanchez. Stick around for hour number 2 and the Varsity Sports Show at 10 a.m.
downloaded the KDUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
APAC is your one-stop source for all your automotive and heavy-duty air conditioning parts, supplies, and equipment. They're family-owned and have been the Valley's go-to for all your auto AC needs since 1982. Whether it's for your everyday or vintage car, commercial, or off-road vehicle or equipment, APAC has you covered. Call APAC, AAPAK, the AC experts at 602-254-1116 and ask for the Varsity Special to get 10% off your purchase. Coaches, the Varsity Sports Show wants to be part of your team in 2023. We have a proven track record of providing the most coverage of your teams with Thursday and Friday night football. We will spotlight your players with multi-camera game broadcasts, pre- and post-game interviews, and segments on our Saturday morning radio show. With over 100 games broadcast in 2022, we will be exceptional for your team. Call, text, or email 480-220-4629 or info@varsitysportshow.com.
Hi, my name is Michael Beal from Costa Mesa, California, and I'm the only person other than Vince that got the honor of wearing his high school Letterman jacket. And you're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
I'll turn those picks into gold.
Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. Nice little lively segment there, you guys. Way to keep it going and talk about, first of all, I'm a big fan of the Havocs. That has to be the biggest party in Arizona. 6,000 people strong in that GCU arena, going nuts. I mean, why wouldn't they win there, John? Wow. Why don't they win? I mean, they will. The fans are almost guaranteeing the team a win by just being there and being crazy. So that's good stuff. Guys, we're going to transition to the West Coast Report with our very own Ella Walter Sanchez kicking it off.
The West Coast Report.
This is Ella Walter Sanchez from Arcadia High School reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. This week's story takes us to Utah, which happens to be one of several states without a hockey team. Ryan Smith, the current owner of the Utah Jazz, realized this problem as well as the lack of sports in Utah. Currently, the only professional teams in Utah are the Utah Jazz of the National Basketball Association and the Major League Soccer's Real Salt Lake. Smith realized that Utah doesn't have a big media market, and it only really has the Utah Jazz. Downtown Salt Lake City isn't a large entertainment district, and he wanted to provide the future of downtown life in Utah. Currently, there is only the Delta Center that hosts different events and is the home of the Jazz. To create this vision of the ultimate entertainment district in Salt Lake City, the Utah Senate proposed and passed a raise in the sales tax that would raise their sales tax from 7.75% to 8.25%. This increase won't be forever, only for the next 30 years or so that they are able to raise enough money to create the area and entertainment district Utah, and more specifically Salt Lake City, needs to be a booming sports entertainment district. Over 30 years, the increase in sales tax is expected to create over $1 billion in funds. As of February 28, 2024, the bill was passed in the Utah Senate, and I'm eager to see how these funds are going to be put to use to improve downtown Salt Lake City. For the Varsity Sports Show, this is Ella Walter Sanchez. Till next time.
Good morning. This is Alissa Firestone from Arizona State University reporting with the Varsity Sports Show, here to share a recent sports innovation from the Chicken Ranch tribe of California. While the state of California voted against the legalization of tribal sports betting, the Chicken Ranch tribe decided to launch a sports betting app this month that does not require any sort of state authorization. Play USA reported that the tribe partnered with VetNose to create the Class 2 bingo-based sports betting app that was given the name Playbach, as it is chicken-themed. It was added that as it is a Class 2 gaming product, the ranch did not need to get permission from the state and can run the app independently. How it works is the app allows participants to wager on the performances of professional athletes in a parlay pick'em style game, picking which athlete they feel will score the highest against 9 matchups in the game sport. For Varsity Sports, I have been Alissa Firestone.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into the Varsity Sports Show. This is Tyler Hautala from the Grand Canyon University reporting in Phoenix, Arizona, bringing you the West Coast Report. March Madness is just around the corner, and college basketball teams are starting to ramp up their play for the conference tournaments in the coming weeks to punch a ticket into the NCAA tournament. The Western Athletic Conference in particular has been around for quite some time now, but has now transitioned to a more dominant basketball conference, and this year we are looking forward to some amazing basketball games played before the big tournament in 2 weeks. The men's side of things at one point was looking like a runaway for Grand Canyon University's men's basketball team going into the WLAX tournament, but lost 2 straight, allowing Tarleton State to close the lead to just half a game lead for both the first and second seed, with Seattle University not far behind as the 3rd seed. The women's side is a lot closer as the number 1 seeded Grand Canyon University team only has a 4.5 game lead from the team in 4th place and could potentially open the door for any team to take the division this week, such as Cal Baptist University and Stephen F. Austin. Now, Utah Tech and Tarleton State both are transitioning over from D2 to D1 schools, and while are ineligible to play in the NCAA tournament, will still be able to play in the WAC tournament this upcoming March. The top 8 of the 11 teams in the WAC will play in a single elimination round until we have a winner, and in most cases will be flying out to play in the NCAA tournament in March. This is Tyler Hautala from Grand Canyon University presenting you the West Coast Report on the Varsity Sports Show.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. I'm really enjoying the vibe that we have this morning in the studio. You guys are doing a great job of carrying the show and really working with each other. It's all about working together and feeding off each other's kind of banter. So good stuff. Some great reporting as well. I had a chance yesterday. We've had this partnership, one of our first partners in the community. I'm a big JUCO guy. I'm a junior college guy. It was a Scottsdale Community College Artichoke, Paradise Valley, Puma, back in the early days when they first opened, before they had sports out there. Paradise Valley Community College. I'm a big JUCO guy. And 6 years ago, the Maricopa Community Colleges, as well as the other JUCOs around the state, all dropped football. Well, this guy, Doug Medoski, who is the dean of coaches in junior college football in the state of Arizona and the country, for that matter, all-time winningest coach at Scottsdale Community College, and that's saying a lot because there have been some successful coaches come through there. He and partner of his, Stephen Weiss, started a league called the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference. And what it was designed to do, they started a 4-team league. It was actually 5 teams for a little while, team down in Tucson, and they ended up more or less concentrating on the Phoenix area for now. So that operations in Tucson were put on hold briefly. But creating opportunities, continuing those opportunities for young guys that want to, and girls that want to continue playing football and get themselves in position to earn a scholarship. And you've got some incredible mentors at each of these 4 teams. So we spotlighted them throughout the season and into the off season. And I had a chance to visit one-on-one with Coach Medoski yesterday. Great guy, really is heading in the right direction. And Aaron, let's run that. It's the JUCO Report on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show. News and notes from the Hohokam Junior College Athletic Conference.
Able to see a lot of things that we need to improve upon, obviously. I mean, I think the coach in me looks at it more from the critical standpoint. I think if you talk to any of my players, any of my coaches, they'll tell you that I'm the guy that constantly wants to look and figure out how to chase perfection. And at the end of the day, knowing that it's a relentless pursuit of it, knowing we may never get to it. But I think for me, it's the positive aspect was seeing the things that we need to get done, the things that we need to improve, the places that we can do so, and do so easily. I mean, I think there's like little things, little pieces here or there that have kind of gotten overlooked or mismanaged along the way that we now have the opportunity to get addressed and taking care of, things like game management with head coaches and trying to, make sure that the facilities are set up and not having to worry about putting the game on and the structure of it, trying to redo how we've done some of those processes, on the field, working with singular trainers to work with each individual team, and things that we've aspired to grow to, that I think have just really now become more at the forefront and front and center for us to be able to go ahead and take care of moving forward, create a better fan experience, create ease of web traffic. Obviously, we're building a new website out that should be done anytime now. It's been a project that's grown from where we were at a year ago or a year and a half ago, I guess, when we first started this to this point. It's grown exponentially. So I just think for us, it's now about really starting to supercharge this thing and take it to the next level.
Looking at your situation, you had mentioned briefly coaches, head coaches. How do you feel about the 4 guys that you have, obviously yourself being one of them, but the 4 guys that are running the 4 programs within the HJCAC?
I'm excited about where we're at. I feel like we've got the right coaches and guys that are on board with us, and more than just the 4 head coaches. I mean, obviously, Brandon McNutt, hiring him from Camelback this year was big for us. I mean, he's a guy that as I shared with him, I started to watch what he was doing over there and really developing the program, building a program, and building a program that hadn't been overly successful along the way. But all of a sudden, they've got kids there that want to be there. You've got kids that are transferring in there. You've got kids that are kids that we're recruiting that we want to move on, that we feel like when you're looking at those guys playing high school, that we can move into that 4-year level and try to help those guys, achieve that goal. So when he became available to us, and obviously with Coach Davis stepping down with some health issues, felt like he was the natural fit for us to be able to go out there and try to get that guy, a builder of programs, but somebody that we can have fun building the league with. I mean, I think that again, kind of the basic level of the league was really about football people trying to do the right thing, take care of these kids, and give them the opportunity to grow and to cut the red tape, cut out all the management end of it, and let's just really get down to what we can do and do it well and do the right thing by these players. So I think he's a huge piece to that, adding him in. But I'm excited not only about the head coaches, but I'm also excited about some of the guys they've got on their staffs. I think that we've also wanted to cultivate the next head coach, so to speak, and cultivate the next coordinator and the next guy that wants that opportunity and wants that level. I know that Coach Strother with the Pumas has had some guys from his staff who were able to leave his staff, and they were position coaches that became coordinators and position coaches that became assistant head coaches at some of the best high school programs in the area, guys that have moved on to the 4-year level at some different D2s. So I think that's all positive signs of where we're at, where we're going, and the growth of the league in the last 5 years.
Let's the last point I wanted to make with you, Coach, was to talk about one of the major selling points about this league is the fact that you push kids along. You develop them and you push them back out there to other schools with scholarships and other types of grants and aid programs out there. How has that been going this offseason?
I mean, it's gone well. I think that, certainly the Mustangs, we had probably the highest level recruit going around with DJ Chrisley, our defensive end. I think at the end of the day, he had 30-some-odd Division I offers. It seemed like every day was another one popping, and not just small offers. I mean, you're talking Nebraska, Maryland, Big 10, Big 12, hell, I would say the Pac-12. It used to be a group of 5. I guess it's not just the Power 4, the Power 4, and but so it's nice to see those guys getting those opportunities. I know that Cody Lazenby, our quarterback, has had a lot of interest, a lot of opportunities. He's got to finish up his schooling right now, but equally, it's nice to see some of those young guys getting those opportunities now. Our running back Kevon Clark, he's a guy that we've already got a ton of interest in. A lot of Division I schools are talking about what do we got to do to get him squared away. So obviously, it's positive because I feel like we're starting to get the talent base that we need. We're starting to, we're not where we were, at the end of the traditional community college football experience here in Arizona, but we're certainly not where we were year 1 of the HJCAC either. We're closing in on that gap and we're chasing it. I think at the end of the day, I made the comment earlier about it's a relentless pursuit of perfection, knowing that we may never get there, and that's really what it's about to me. Is how do we get up every day and we just chase and chase and chase, knowing that we're going to continue to improve, we're going to continue to show a different way to do something. Non-traditional is really not the issue. At the end of the day, we've just got to do a better job of explaining what non-traditional looks like and the advantages of doing it this way.
Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hi, this is former NBA All-Star and coach Doug Collins, and you're listening to the home of youth, high school, college, and you, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Hi, this is Rob Maggs, Vince's life coach and surfing coach to the Beach Bum Beal. You're listening live to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona. Getting a little nostalgic here in the studio with my friends Alex, John, and Kobe talking a little bit about our show history. It's amazing how far we've come, how far our content has come along, our format and our guests and our contributors and our partners. We've come a long way, baby, as they say. It's been 5 years, and while there have been some subtle changes, time slot, it was kind of cool when we were on at 7 a.m. because then nobody listened and we could do whatever we wanted. Now it's we still kind of do what we want for the most part, but it's within reason, and people, I think people tune in. They like our content, and it's been a fun ride journey that continues on, and some strategic partnerships that we've had. Very fortunate to have that as well. There is more coming, guys. Stay tuned. There is more coming. You're gonna love some of the things that we're doing. I just can't say it yet, but like I said, if you listen to KDUS during the week at all, and listen to any ads regarding our show promos, they're out there. We're working on a big announcement that will be happening in the next 2 weeks. And so that's all I can say about that. We're going to transition. We've got we started with our West Coast report, which has been kind of a fun thing. We cover different parts of the country. Our amazing team, they're out there fishing and combing the universe for big news stories that are captivating and entertaining and educational. We're going to transition to the East Coast report with our very own Grand Canyon University's Davis Noble, who's talking a little Duke versus Wake Forest basketball.
The East Coast Report.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davis Noble from Grand Canyon University, and welcome to the effect of court storming. Last Saturday, the number 8 Duke men's basketball team competed against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons team in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The game ended with an upset of Duke's loss of 69-73. This caused mass excitement for the home side and led to Wake Forest fans storming the court to celebrate with their team. Unfortunately, due to the extreme amount of fans rushing towards midcourt all at once, it led to lead scorer for Duke, Kyle Filipowski, to injure his right knee from a Wake Forest fan running into him. According to a CBS interview after the game, Kyle said, "This was one of the worst of them. Like I said, it's just really ridiculous how, that situation's handled. I've already heard that there are some videos of me getting punched in the back, so I absolutely feel like it was personal. Intentional for sure. There's no excuse for that." Filipowski's frustration is very understandable, especially when it is seen from different angles of the broadcast that the fan taunts Kyle before the collision happens. College basketball is an exciting sport, especially when the end of the season is right around the corner and schools are trying to compete for the top of their conferences. However, it is unethical to target the other team and cause injury to them, whether it was intentional or not. It leads officials of the NCAA to consider if court storming should cause consequences or not. What do you think? This is Davis Noble with Grand Canyon University, and thank you for tuning in to Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, I'm Eitan Ohana from the University of Florida, reporting for the Varsity Sports Show. It's about that time of year when the Miami Heat start taking basketball seriously again. That's only kind of a joke. The Heat, who are outside the top 4 of the Eastern Conference, relish this position. The hopeless underdog, the talentless bunch, and the team that doesn't even have a fighting chance. This year, it's all about the Boston Celtics in the East. After that, you'll hear people talking about teams like the Milwaukee Bucks, Philadelphia 76ers, even the New York Knicks. What we know from the past, however, is that Miami isn't concerned with what people are talking about. Just last year, they were an 8th seed that had to win a play-in game just to make the playoffs. There was no hope anyway, as they had to face the dominant 1-seed Bucks in the first round. Or at least that's what everyone thought. Miami upset Milwaukee in 5 games off the back of some heroic Jimmy Butler performances, and off they were, eventually making the NBA Finals. The Heat surely hoped to not need to follow the same path, but wouldn't blink if it became their reality. After all, the team is built of guys who have had to fight through adversity their entire careers. Guys like Butler, who was often doubted and made himself who he is, or even a Duncan Robinson, who was benched last season before proving himself in the playoffs. To put it simply, this is the part of the season where Heat culture shows up on the court. For Varsity Sports, I'm Eitan Ohana.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another segment of Varsity Sports Show from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, with Diego Fernandez here. The New York Yankees stay up and dandy with their newest adjustment from a World Series title with former San Diego Padres outfielder Juan Soto. Juan Soto was a major trade in the world of Major League Baseball, with New York giving over 3 right-handers, Michael King, Johnny Brito, and Randy Vasquez, starting pitching prospect Drew Throp, and catcher Kyle Hakashoka. All these major pieces from a change at the big top promised land of a World Series. The last time they won the World Series was all the way back in 2009, and they try to make it back since. In Juan Soto's debut against the Toronto Blue Jays in Florida during spring training in the bottom of the 4th inning, Michael Kay from the Yes Network has his call from Steinberg Field in Tampa, Florida.
Ground ball to second in the first, a walk, and a run scored in the third. That one is hit to deep left center field. That ball is gone off the scoreboard. A 3-run home run for Juan Soto, and the Yankees lead 7-1.
With this big play putting in the works, Juan Soto will have a huge impact on this year's story for the Yankee Doodle postseason. From Varsity Sports Show, this is Diego Fernandez.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. I am Alexandra Medina. Now, Kobe, Devin Booker has had 4 games within the last 12 games in January with over 30 points. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, Devin Booker is one of the catalysts offensively for this Phoenix Suns lineup, along with Kevin Durant. And just that two-headed monster for the Phoenix Suns can give them a victory day in and day out. And right now, in terms of the playoff standings, they're number 5, but 5 through 8 right now are separated by 1 or 2 games. It's really close, so one loss could put them into the 8th spot. A win could put them where they are now in the 5 or 6 spot, and then obviously the 7th spot. So there's a lot of teams right there trying to compete for those higher seeds. Obviously, it's been pretty solidified so far. At the top, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then how about the Oklahoma City Thunder in terms of all their young stars in that team like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren? But again, going back to the local Phoenix Suns here for all those Arizonians tuning in, there's a lot to be proud of with the squad.
Yeah, and they play the Houston Rockets tonight, so we'll have to tune into that to see if they can get a win.
Absolutely. And, John, I know you have some more information on former UofA quarterback Jayden DeLaura. Talk to the viewers.
Back in high school, this is all when the drama started happening with the allegations of sexual assault. The case just got not dismissed; it got settled less than a month ago. But anyways, He was set to transfer to Texas State University, and it was going to be his senior season, and he was going to go try out for the NFL draft this upcoming year, but this stuff started happening, and so he dropped from Texas State, and he was in good standing with both UA and Texas, but now he's just trying out for the NFL draft.
So I have a question. In terms of the NFL draft and preparation, it is like it's a life-defining moment. Let's focus on how defining an opportunity to play professional sports is. First and foremost, I mean, what do you think? You've talked to a few of these guys, Alex. What do you think these guys have to go through to get themselves on that stage? I mean, aside from what they're doing, on the field, what other type of preparation in the off season?
Well, this is something they prepare for their entire lives, from childhood to high school, and just the transition into college. And then in college, they're working really, really, really hard to get scouted by an NFL team. And we've seen a lot of that this last season with Justin Fields being questioned as to whether he's going to stay in Chicago or if Chicago is going to be drafting Caleb Williams, who has had his eyes on by recruiters this whole entire last season. And he keeps on saying he's going to stay in Chicago. We don't know, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's really a lot of interesting factors and storylines playing into the NFL Draft Combine, which started on Thursday, heading into the weekend are the final days that has taken place at Lucas Oil Stadium. But regarding your question with Justin Fields, it looks like we're heading into a trade. Nothing official yet, but I've heard some talks that he could potentially be traded to the Atlanta Falcons, which could be interesting. They have a brand new head coach in Raheem Morris, and it isn't working out with Desmond Ridder so far. And in terms of their draft position, they're at number 8. So other than that, it seems like the Bears could potentially trade Fields, and at that point, they would maintain their position with the number 1 overall pick, and all likelihood potentially take USC's Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Justin Fields says he's staying in Chicago. Caleb Williams says he wants to go to Chicago. And earlier on in the college season, Williams' dad was saying how he didn't really find Chicago an eye-opener for Caleb. And so it'll be interesting to see where Caleb goes and what happens with that.
Yeah, and in the end, it's all noise. And at that point, people thought, well, maybe he's going to stay in college because of all the NIL money that he's making. And I saw a report the other day that it could be upwards of $10 million just this year, which is incredible how far it's come in terms of NIL valuation and college sports in itself. But he's presumed to be the number 1 pick, and where he goes really is the question. Is it going to be a homecoming in Washington, D.C.? He went to Gonzaga Prep out there before going to the University of Oklahoma, and then obviously following his head coach, formerly at Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley, who eventually went to USC. But again, he's the presumed number 1 overall pick. Will he go to Washington or will he go to the Chicago Bears? But he's going to be the future of whatever NFL team that's lucky to select him.
Yeah, there's been lots of questions. I know Jayden Daniels is projected to go to New England, and then there's been talk that maybe New England will shy away from a quarterback and maybe select Marvin Harrison Jr., who's been projected to go to the Arizona Cardinals, as they will be selecting after New England. And so there's lots of questions heading into the draft. It'll be interesting to see who the top draft picks are. Sometimes people project and then they go a total different way, and so it'll be an interesting one.
Guys, when we come back from the break, we're going to have our Midwest report and wrap the show. There's a lot of good stuff coming up. Don't go anywhere here on the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060.
Hey, Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
This is Conrad Hamilton, head football coach at Desert Mountain High School. You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show.
The Varsity Sports Show is once again proud to partner with Grand Canyon University Club Sports in 2023 and 24. Join us in our coverage of GCU Club Sports on Saturday's Varsity Sports Show and the rest of the week.
We'll cover hockey, soccer, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, and more. The Lopes are back on the Varsity Sports Show.
Hi, this is Mesa Community College Assistant Athletic Director Mike Lavella and modern-day Vince Papali. You're listening to AM 1060, the Varsity Sports Show, the home of all your junior college sports coverage.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
The Midwest Report.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Quinton Wilson coming to you live from UNLV with the Varsity Sports Show. Now today we're going to be spotlighting one of the Midwest's finest teams, none other than Wisconsin Lutheran, hailing proudly from the heart of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Topping the charts as the #1 team in the state and a formidable 8th nationally, Wisconsin Lutheran's dominance is nothing short of remarkable. Finishing the regular season with an impeccable 24-0 record, including a flawless 12-0 in conference play, marks a historic achievement for the team, a feat not seen since their entry into the Woodland West Conference. This season marks their inaugural reign at the summit of Wisconsin high school basketball. An astounding 79% of Wisconsin Lutheran's victories have come with commanding margins of 15 points or more, underscoring their sheer dominance on the court. Noteworthy triumphs against powerhouse opponents like the Arrowhead Warhawks and the 3-time reigning state champions, the Milwaukee Pirates. Central to Wisconsin Lutheran's success is the towering presence of 6'5" guard Han Knopel II. Ranked #1 in the state and a formidable 16th nationally, Knopel's impact is undeniable, averaging an impressive 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Hailing from a distinguished basketball lineage, with his father Con Knopel I boasting over 2,000 career points at Wisconsin Lutheran College, and his mother Sherry Norgard holding the all-time scoring record at the University of Wisconsin Green Bay with 1,964 career points. As the Wisconsin Lutheran Vikings gear up for the state playoffs next week, their sights are set on nothing short of glory, with their eyes fixed on toppling Milwaukee High School and clinching their maiden state championship. Stay tuned for all the latest updates on the WIAA Boys Basketball State Playoffs right here on the Varsity Sports Show. This is Quinton Wilson signing off.
I'm Mason Collins with Varsity Sports, here to talk about high school basketball in a place where it's more passionate and dedicated than probably anywhere else. Yes, Indiana. With high school postseason basketball starting this week, the state of Indiana couldn't be more thrilled to start off the 2023-24 Boys State Basketball Tournament. The tournament, organized by the Indiana High School Athletic Association, is one of the oldest high school basketball tournaments in America. This will mark the 114th year that this tournament will be played. The way this tournament was originally formatted was any school, no matter what class, could compete against one another. For those of you who didn't watch the movie Hoosiers, the 1954 Milan High School basketball team was the smallest ever to win the single-class tournament, with just 161 students enrolling. Beginning in 1997, the IHSAA divided the schools into 4 classes based on enrollment, each class having their own tournament. This year's tournament is headlined with many talented teams, 4 teams ranked nationally in the top 100. One of those teams, the Kokomo Wildcats, features 5-star player Flory Badunga, who is committed to play basketball at Kansas University. They will try to win the state championship after losing to Ben Davis High School in last year's state championship game, 53-41. The 4A class rankings ended with Fishers High School ranked #1 in the state. They start their potential run to the championship Tuesday night in their first matchup against Carmel High School. Make sure to stay updated to find out what teams bring home this year's state championships. I'm Mason Collins, and you're listening to Varsity Sports Radio.
It's time for Sun Devil Lacrosse Talk with ASU lacrosse coach Taryn Van Thoft on the Varsity Sports Show. AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
All right, guys, it is that time. We have ASU women's lacrosse head coach Taryn Van Thoff with us. Coach Van Thoff, when I talked to you a week ago, you were undefeated. You had some opponents coming in, not quite sure what to expect. You dropped both of those matches, but they were very competitive matches. What were the takeaways, starting with Stony Brook? I mean, you've got two opponents that were top 10, Stony Brook being one of them. What was the takeaway there?
A tough travel trip. We had to the East Coast to take on Stony Brook, but we adapted while we were there. I think the first 30 minutes, you look at a Stony Brook game, we're down by 1, headed into halftime, and we knew we were there to compete. We put together a solid 30, needed to play the next 30 at that level to continue to feel good and feel confident throughout throughout that whole game. And then you look at a Michigan at home, you see number 6 at home, and we put those 60 minutes together. And so that was a fun one. We either had the lead or it was a tied game for majority of that game. And, it's a learning moment for sure. But, our kids are coming out of that really positive, saying, we're there. We're there and we're able to compete at that level. So, it'll be a fun one as we get, Florida, another ranked opponent at home on Sunday.
Well, and in talking about that last one in Michigan, number 6 coming in and a very uncharacteristic of ASU lacrosse teams of recent history in that, it was a 10-9 game. So obviously you played a lot of defense in this game and they played a lot of defense. When you look at the final score, 10-9, and coming away with that, you have to be pretty proud with the progress that you're making in the program here.
Of course. I mean, Michigan coming into that game was holding teams to an average of 2.5 goals per game. So, you put 9 on a Michigan team with that average, you're doing something right. And, our attackers have that confidence to put the ball in that, let the ball go. And so it's been fun to watch them progress. Even it's February, it's early, right? It's so exciting because, ranked opponents and we're in the thick of it and we're competing, but it's so early in season and, we don't want to be peaking now. We want to be building and progressing so that come May, we're in the right place.
So give us a little preview of your former program. You spent 6 years at the University of Florida, number 11 coming in on Sunday, tomorrow. What are you expecting?
Yeah, a very dodge heavy team from the offensive side of things. We'll flip back and forth from Amanda zone, but I think for us, we've got to take care of business in terms of playing to our standards and playing Sun Devils lacrosse. We talked a lot about that in our pre-game speech in Michigan, and it rang true for a full 60 minutes for us. It's no different, right? Sun Devils lacrosse is what we need to play.
Awesome. There you have it. ASU Sun Devils women lacrosse head coach Taryn Van Thoff hosting her old program, the University of Florida, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Come on out, guys. It's going to be a great one, a real barn burner. Coach, good luck. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Go Devs.
Time for Vince's final word.
I gotta say, I've just fallen in love with lacrosse. I mean, it is such an exciting sport. Alex, you ever been to a lacrosse match?
I have not, but I'm looking forward to making my way over to some.
Yeah, well, we got a big one today. A Grand Canyon University club women's lacrosse team hosting Utah Valley. That one kicks off at noon. And I'm fortunate in that I'll be on the call with Sammy Califf. He'll be helping me on the broadcast, and our production team, led by technical director, the multi-talented Bailey Leisure, and the rest of our crew. John, you're going to be part of the crew today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sierra Naess will be, who's a Grand Canyon University broadcast intern, will be our field correspondent, sideline reporter, bringing us action throughout the game. So you can find the live stream to the link to that game on our social media. It'll be posted. Head over to our Twitter or X at Varsity Show, or every other platform that we're on, Varsity Sports Show. So good stuff. It's a lot of exciting stuff. What a show. Kobe, let's go. Let's go your direction, left to right, or right to left, I should say. Your impressions of today's show. What do you like? What are things we need to work on besides maybe replacing the main host?
Well, I'm always loving the camaraderie, and Vince, you always do an amazing job. So you're here to stay as the host of the Varsity Sports Show, always in my book. But first time meeting John. John, it was a pleasure to meet you. First time on the airwaves for you also, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And
Good stuff.
And Alex, obviously, I've known now over the course of this semester, and this is my second time here. I know it's Alex's second time here as well, and I couldn't have had a better time.
It's, I'm really proud of the progress that we've been making. You guys came in with some incredible skill sets as it is, but Kobe, I watched and listened to yesterday's Saguaro game, our first baseball game of the season with them, even though it wasn't their first game against Barry Goldwater. You did a heck of a job on the call yesterday. Hats off to you. Again, incredible skill set, big future in this industry, a lot of talent. John, transitioning over to you, you're our pop culture expert here. What's coming up in pop culture?
Nicki Minaj set off her Pink Friday World Tour.
That's the first I'm hearing of Nicki Minaj. You've been talking Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift the whole show. Now, Nicki Minaj, you pulled this one out of your hat.
Well, I knew that too, but it's more recent than everything else. There's upcoming stuff that's happening like this upcoming Thursday. Arna releases her Eternal Sunshine, but...
Wow. And no talk of like Van Halen or Sammy Hagar or anything like that.
They don't have any news that's happening right now.
But if they did, you'd be all over it, right?
Yeah, like I like to keep up on current world news about that stuff.
Yeah, okay. Alex, what about you? Projects that you have coming up?
Yeah, so last Wednesday I actually wrote a story on the Castile and Canyon View basketball game, the semifinals that went in the newspaper, and I'm looking forward to next week and putting out some good segments for the Varsity Sports Show.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys to no end. It's number one, the talent in this room is incredible. Minus this guy on the mic right now, you guys are just killing it, and you will continue to do that. So, guys, I want to take a moment to thank today's live guests: Saguaro baseball head coach Joe Muecke, Thunderbird Titans baseball coach Mike Jacobs. We'll be featuring a lot more of those two programs as well as others throughout the rest of this spring. Please be sure and check out all of our archive content on Twitter at Varsity Show, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thanks to our producer, the ever-talented Aaron Decker. Join us back here next Saturday at 8 a.m. on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. The Varsity Sports Show. A lot of good stuff coming up. Stay tuned for big announcements, guys. Big announcements coming up. That's all I can say right now. I think you're going to be very pleased with everything that we're doing. And thank you to our show partners, of which we would not be here right now if not for you, our guests, and most importantly, you, our listeners, for everything in giving us this platform and starting your Saturday off with us here at the Varsity Sports Show. My name is Vince DeLisio. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, everyone. Go Varsity. Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio here from the Varsity Sports Show. We are so excited and honored that you start your weekends off with us. Our team is comprised of very talented high school and college students working toward a future in media. We appreciate your support, and any opportunities that we can to promote your teams or businesses will go a long way toward helping us continue supporting our talented team. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and we use our platform to not only promote all of the great things happening in the world of sports locally and nationally, but also continue to promote and encourage future broadcasters as they grow in this industry. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to the Varsity Media Foundation. To find out more, please email us at info@varsitysportshow.com or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Varsity Sports Show, or on Twitter at Varsity Show. Once again, thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now a nationally syndicated program on the Sports Map Radio Network. Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone, in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
AM